Tango, Charlie Smith, Jong Benji, Georgia Strait. I'm Charlie Smith, editor of the Georgia Strait. I'm very happy to be back for another week on WOW TV. It's the start of the year, and at this time of year, we often look forward to what we can expect in 2014. And I'm going to begin with the provincial political scene. One of the biggest stories that happened was when a federal joint review panel approved the Enbridge pipeline in December, and there were 209 conditions attached. It still requires the approval of the federal cabinet. But the Enbridge pipeline, which will connect oil from the oil sands, take bitumen from there in Alberta to Kitimat, is a very controversial project in British Columbia. It's opposed by many First Nations, many environmentalists, but some in the business community are quite eager to see this go ahead. So what we're going to see as we go forward, I think, is more organization from the environmental community. And in the Georgia Strait, we're actually looking at whether this could conceivably lead to sabotage, because there has been talk in some circles about direct action. The last time we saw that was in the early 1980s in British Columbia with a group called the Squamish Five, where they actually indulged in some form of terrorism, blowing up a red-hot video, a Lytton munitions plant in Ontario, a BC Hydro substation. So this is some of the conversation that's taking place in some circles, and the police are paying close attention to it. But at the same time, the pipeline still hasn't been approved, and there's another application for a Kinder Morgan pipeline. It's actually Trans Mountain, but the U.S. company Kinder Morgan is the owner of the company, and that would also bring oil from Alberta down, but this would come down to Vancouver and result in a sharp increase in the number of tankers going through Burrard Inlet, up to maybe 400 per year. So you've got two major pipelines in British Columbia, Prime Minister who's eager to get the oil unlocked from Alberta and over to Asia. Part of the problem from the oil company's perspective is when they sell into the United States, they're selling oil at a discount, $20 a barrel cheaper. So the Alberta government in particular is looking to increase its royalties if it can sell the oil to the more lucrative markets in Asia. The BC government, though, is taking the position that they have 5 conditions, and one is they want a world-class spill response. The issue in British Columbia is that British Columbians are taking a lot of the risk of shipping oil with the possibility of tanker accidents on the West Coast, but they don't get many of the benefits because the royalties flow to the provincial government. So this is an issue that is going to be with us for a long time, well beyond 2014. One of the opponents of the Kinder Morgan pipeline has been Kennedy Stewart, who's the NDP MP for Burnaby Douglas. And what's interesting is Kennedy Stewart looks like he's going to be running for the leadership of the provincial New Democrats. He's a professor of public policy from Simon Fraser University. He was elected for the first time in 2011, and he's not that well known to a lot of British Columbians, but he told us, one of our reporters, Carlita Pablo, that he's already raised he's got $200,000 in pledges, and that's about the same amount of money that Adrian Dix had when he successfully ran for leadership of the NDP in 2011. So Kennedy Stewart's likely opponents are David Eby, former executive director of the BC Civil Liberties Association, and David Eby is the MLA in Vancouver Point Grey who defeated Christy Clark, the premier. And the other one is Mike Farnworth, the NDP MLA in Port Coquitlam, and he came second to Adrian Dix, and he's been the long-term health critic for the NDP, although Adrian Dix shuffled him to a new position after the election. So there may be more who enter the race, but 2014 will be the year that we see a new BC NDP leader. The third issue that I'm looking at as we go forward into 2014 is health care. Premier Christy Clark has actually held the line on health spending, increasing it by only 2.6% in this year. That's her plan over a 3-year period. It was 4.4% before she took office, and the increases were significantly higher during the Gordon Campbell years. So she's holding the line on health spending, but that's also causing a bit of a backlash, where seniors were being charged for wheelchairs, people being discharged early from hospital, And we'll see whether this becomes a bigger issue as the year progresses. But she took a bit of a risk. At the same time, she's promised to balance the budget in each of the 4 years of her term of office, and that's one of the reasons she probably got elected. But that's another issue to watch in 2014. Now we're going to go on a lighter note and hear from two of our music writers, Adrian Mack and Mike Usinger.